So only 3 World Championship places still to be settled tonight, and it will be between the Montesa Honda duo of Gabriel Marseille and Tony Bow, as well as the TRS representative Adam Raga. Well, you wouldn't have believed this of Marseille after his disastrous performance last weekend in Chalon-sur-Saône. He's more than made up for that. At the time, first out through the sections in Chalon-sur-Saône last week. He will be first out through the sections in this grand final today. But points are reset for the final.
Con esas más de 137 participaciones en el Campeonato del Mundo de Trial Indoor, Tony Bow, aplauso para todos ellos.
Riders being reintroduced to the crowd then, before we get underway here. Top seed to the final is Tony Bow after his 18-mark score over the course of rounds 1 and 2. Top performer in each of them. Adam Raga, second seed, 21 marks, and Gabriel Marseille, third seed on 27. Only 2 marks off Bow and Raga in his first run. A little bit more disappointing at the second time of asking. Let's see what he can do now in the grand final. Expect this to be relatively accessible for a grand final. Most of the sections have already been tackled earlier on in the night. Section 1, for example, familiar from the opening round. Tony Bow was clean through this section in round 1, as was Adam Raga. Gabriel Marseille took a single mark. Marseille will be the first rider out here, guaranteed a 3rd podium of his career. 2 previous podiums at Budapest in 2020 and Barcelona, of course, back in November. 1 minute for 1 section for each rider in this grand final. Gabriel Marseille. Target will be to remain clean through this section 1. Keep some pressure on Raga and Bow. Nice work there on the back wheel. Got to be careful not to land on the sump on the other side, and he's done that. Now it's about the landing and the descent. Now we've seen riders get caught out here earlier on in the evening. They are long sections as well here at Extra Madrid. High difficulty level. We've seen some big point scores from some of the riders lower down the order. Big step here for Marseille. Doesn't look overawed by the occasion so far. He's up. Less than 10 seconds on the clock, but Marseille is through clean. In 55 seconds. Fantastic start to this grand final for Gabriel Marseille. Adam Raga will be next up. Already confirmed an extension of his incredible record of consecutive podium finishes, 40 in a row after his efforts in Chalon-sur-Saône last weekend. An excellent performance it was in France. Separated from Tony Bow by just a single mark all night. That mark was in the grand final. Raga took a fiasco in the penultimate section to rule himself out of contention for the victory. Bow then failed the final section. Will we go down to the final section here this evening? First 2 extras of the season have been settled with a ride to spare. Adam Raga looking to match Gabriel Marseille clean after his opening ride. Raga sealed his first world title here in Madrid back in 2003. Twice a winner of Extra Madrid in 2006 and 2007 in a nearby venue to the east of the city, in the west of the city tonight here at the Madrid Arena. Half of the time still remaining for Adam Raga. Just about getting up this step without dropping a mark for leaning. And he too will be clean to match Gabriel Marseille. If he drops a mark here, he'll slip behind Marseille in the starting order for section 2. Up he goes. And he, like Gabriel Marseille, immaculate in section 1. Adam Raga too is clean. So it's over to Tony Bow. 6 sections in the grand final. But as things stand, we would be effectively down to 5 to settle the extra tonight. After Marseille's clean, Raga performing likewise. Tony Bow, World Championship leader. Man who was such a convincing winner at Extra Chalon-sur-Saône last weekend. Also dropped a solitary point to Toby Martin. Came into tonight's event, though, with a 13-point championship lead. He's added another 2. Victory in rounds 1 and 2 for Tony Bowe. Grand final is underway for Bowe. Always an advantage to be the last rider out because you know exactly what you need to do. And any rider who's already completed the section shows you the line, shows you the way. But tonight, perhaps with several repeated sections, Bowe might be under more pressure, particularly if his rivals continue to impress. Anything Bowe drops puts him behind, of course. Bowe a little bit short on that step, but forces the bike forward. No great difficulties there. Looking to become the 3rd rider in this grand final through clean in section number 1, Tony Bowe. Plenty of revs. He too is up. Tony Bowe, 3rd rider through clean in section number 1. 5 sections then to settle Extra Madrid. The riders all square, clean after section 1. Back to Gabriel Marseille as we move on now to section 2. Now this is a repeat of section 2 from round 2. That was easy enough a few minutes ago. Marseille and Bowe both cleaned it, but this time there is an additional step, and for me it raises the difficulty level of this section from 10 to 100. See how we get on. Gabriel Marseille, first rider to tackle it. Riders will now be obliged to jump down and make what is a sizable step here. See Marseille dropping down. Now the riders weren't obliged to do that in round 2. They could fly straight across. What a small run up this is. It's going to take a huge force of will here for Gabriel Marseille to ride up the side of this module. Likely landed on the sump if he can get it up there. Gabriel Marseille. Up he goes, but no. Front wheel caught by his assistant. First drop mark of the grand final. It's Gabriel Marseille with a failure in section 2. Can anyone get through that step, though? Well, initially, it was considered impossible by the riders on the section observations earlier on today. And they were given an extra 20 centimetres of run-up before the step. You'll actually see it, the extra block of concrete that's been added to the section. Still looks practically impossible, doesn't it? So again, Adam Raga required to drop down and make this step. Gabriel Marseille failed. Will Adam Raga make it through section 2 of the grand final? Here at Extra Madrid. Raga is up, he lands it on the sump but slides backwards, and he too scores a 5-mark tally in section 2. Marseille 5, Raga 5. Tony Bowe, the kind of section he loves here, where the level of difficulty is stratospheric, and an opportunity for him to take the lead of Extra Madrid in section 2. Big moment this one for Bowe. First opportunity to lead in the grand final. Fans will understand that this is a key moment in the Extra. If Bowe can take the lead here, he really will be in a commanding position. 4 sections remaining after it. Plenty could happen from here to the end. First step completed. That's no great difficulty. This is the key. You see Bowe positioning the back tyre. He'll go right to the edge of the section, give himself the longest possible run. It's not much of a run, is it? It's not even a bike's length. Partway up the section, he's got to ride up it here, Tony Bowe. Section 2, failed by Marseille, failed by Raga. Tony Bowe is up! Single drop mark for footing for Tony Bowe. but he's successfully completed the most difficult elements of section 2. 20 seconds still in the bank. 2 A-frames and the exit. Tony Bow takes a crucial early lead here in Extra Madrid in 2022. 5 marks for Marseille and Raga. Bow utterly irrepressible with a brilliant ride in section 2. Bow 1, Raga 5, Marseille 5. 4 sections still to come. But Tony Bow already has a stranglehold on this grand final. Section 3. This is the only section this evening in which the riders will be required to tackle both directions. It is a long section as well. The cable reels starting with the round 1 direction, returning as they did in round 2. Gabriel Marseille first up. Got 2 marks through this section in round 1, was clean in round 2 though. Knows he's got a rush, so you can see the alacrity with which he opens the section. Already being given indications by his assistant as to the time. And it's got to be a rush. Marseille cannot afford to linger on the sections as he did there. Avoids taking a mark for leaning in that position where several riders struggled earlier on. Races through to the finish. Brilliant ride in the round 1 direction. Down the round 2 direction, which he's already managed clean earlier on. Watched on by Adam Raga. Only 20 seconds though on the clock. This time there's a rush that there wasn't in round 2. Good work from Marseille. 15 seconds now. Pressing on. Superb ride so far from Gabriel Marseille in this grand final. Less than 10 seconds. A race to the exit gate. Marseille on the back wheel has done it. Clean in section number 3. Super ride that was. Really outstanding. 59 seconds on the clock. Marseille heaps the pressure onto Adam Raga. And the Repsol Montesa Honda team will be thinking that, I tell you what, if Marseille could put himself between Bow and Raga, that would work out very nicely for their number 1. Over to Adam Raga then. He'll need to be clean in this section 3 if he wants to maintain second starting position ahead of Gabriel Marseille for section 4 next time out. Adam Raga then. You can see the section moving around with Raga on top of it. This is where Marseille too took his time. Raga takes a single mark for leaning, lands it on the sump. And that means that Gabriel Marseille provisionally moves into second position ahead of Raga. And as things stand, Raga would be first out through the sections next time out in section 4 as well. Well, we wait for confirmation of that because at the moment, the observer doesn't look to have signalled a single mark for Raga for leaning. It looked to me as though he'd landed it clearly on the sump there. So we'll wait to see what the section observer gives. Yes, it is. That mark has gone up now for Adam Raga. 5 seconds on the clock still for Adam Raga, but it is a single mark for leaning. I called it at the time. Waiting for the section observer to sort of catch up with me, but we did get there eventually. Marseille then on 5. Raga slips down into 3rd position on 6. So Adam Raga will be first out through section 4 next time out. At the halfway mark in this grand final, Gabriel Marseille moves into 2nd place. Tony Bow. Now 5 marks clear of Adam Raga. Raga with the section in hand though. Bow must ride this section 3. It's been tight on time for both of the riders thus far. We know how fast Tony Bow can be, but he also needs to be precise. Looking for a clean here to maintain that 5-mark lead. Another mark gifted to him somewhat there by Adam Raga. That drop mark for leaning. What a ride that was from Gabriel Marseille. Oh, Bow had to force the bike forward. He realized he was a little short, and to avoid taking a mark for leaning, throws himself at the section, but he's got himself caught now. Single drop mark for leaning. Only Tony Bowe can get himself out of danger like that. 4 marks now is Tony Bowe's lead over Adam Raga. Only 3 over Gabriel Marseille. Marseille, the only rider clean through this section 3. Great ride from Marseille. Single drop mark so far for Bowe then in this section 3. 10 seconds. Tony Bowe is through in section 3, but like Adam Raga takes a single dab to do it. Gabriel Marseille up into second position, only 3 marks from leader Tony Bowe with 3 sections remaining. What a grand final we've got here tonight. Saw Matteo Grattarola pull in front of Adam Raga in Nice, but eventually Raga reasserted himself into second position despite the first starting place in 2 of the sections. Can Raga do the same again here tonight? Section 4. New regulations mean that the rider bottom of the pecking order after each section must tackle the next section first. So section 4 and Raga's first out through. This section a repeat of section 4 from the second round, which Raga failed. Tony Bowe was one of only 2 riders to make it through, along with Jaime Busto. Both of them dropped a single mark. The first step is difficult enough. Land it, twist, descend, and then there is a massive step later on in the section. So 2 main elements that will pose the biggest hazard to these riders. Gabriel Marseille, this could be a coming of age in his career. Raga starts with a 5. Immediately, the first step failed by Adam Raga in section 4, and we've seen Tony Bowe already get through this one. Golden opportunity for Tony Bowe to extend his lead. An opportunity too for Gabriel Marseille to extend his advantage over Raga. Marseille currently second position tonight. Raga drops on to 11. Still will be first out through the sections in section 5. Bit of a discussion here taking place at the bottom of section 4. Deep discussions. Car merged here for Marseille. By his assistant, waiting patiently. Section 4. Adam Raga failed then on the very first step. Marseille, likewise, in the second round, of course, as he found the trick by watching some of the masters earlier on. Busto made it through, of course, as did Tony Bowe in round 2. Gabriel Marseille. Up he goes, he's landed it, and he's landed it on the sub, single mark for leaning. But he joins Jaime Busto and Tony Bowe as riders to have conquered that first step. What can he do from here? Very, very big step still to come for Gabriel Marseille. Another drop mark, a single for footing. Left foot goes down. That perhaps an errant one. You might consider that an unforced error. Near perfection required from here for Gabriel Marseille. He's already got further than Adam Raga, though, in this section 4. Can he extend his lead in the battle for second position? Keep some pressure on Tony Bowe as well. Big step, this one. Only 10 seconds on the clock, just over. It's now or never. Marseille, he's up! Gabriel Marseille is through in section 4. A brilliant ride once again from the youngster. Takehisa Fujinami could be looking at a first 1-2 as a team manager. Marseille 7 marks from 4, 2 sections to go. He leads Adam Raga by 4 marks. This could be a big, big night indeed for Repsol Montesa Honda. As I mentioned previously, if Marseille puts himself in between Bo and Raga, that could extend Bo's championship lead. Bo himself has got work to do, of course. A failure here, and he'd be level with Marseille. Gabriel Marseille could yet be the winner of Extra Madrid. Never yet a winner in the Extra World Championship, Marseille. Tony Bo then moves himself into section 4. He's up, and he's still clean. Just incredible again from Tony Bo. 5 marks his lead over Gabriel Marseille at present. Only 3 marks it was after section 3. Can he remain clean now in section 4? Big step. We've seen Marseille pull it off. Will we see Tony Bo pull it off for a second time this evening? Bo made it up to the top in round 2. He's up to the top in the final as well. Tony Bo with an astounding ride in section 4. Really quite incredible from Bo once again. 4 sections complete, 2 still to go. Tony Bo on 2 marks, leads the way. 5 ahead of Gabriel Marseille, who failed section 2. Adam Raga, with 2 failures, sections 2 and 4, is bottom of the pile, 4 marks behind Gabriel Marseille. And if he fails this section, then he'll be in real trouble. Section number 5. Repeat of section 5 from round number 1. Back in round 1, Raga was clean through here, as was Tony Bo. Marseille dropped a single mark. See what the final will bring. 1 minute for 1 section here for Adam Raga, who trails Gabriel Marseille by 4 points. Heading into the penultimate section. Good work on the back wheel. Efficient so far from Raga. Well, it's good from Raga in section number 5. He is clean. Only his second clean, though, of the run. 11 marks with 1 section to go for Raga. Marseille will be looking for a clean here, which he couldn't manage earlier on in the night. But if he does manage it here, it's going to take something sensational from Raga in section 6 to unseat Marseille from second position. Encouragement and calm, I'm quite sure, from his assistants, as Gabriel Marseille embarks on what could be one of the biggest rides of his career. Well, it looks like we might go down to the wire, at very least for second position. If Gabriel Marseille cleans here, we will go to the final section of the night to determine the winner of Extra Madrid in 2022 as well. Marseille is up on the back wheel, opening section 5. Already 2 cleans to his name, sections 1 and 3. Looking for his 3rd here to match Adam Raga and maintain a 4-mark lead. Also with one eye, I'm sure, on victory tonight. And why wouldn't you, the way he's been going? Plenty of time still. 35 was given to him by his assistant. It's now down to 30. So you're taking his time for a crucial final step now. Section 5, clean for Gabriel Marseille, who leads Adam Raga by 4 marks ahead of the final section. And what is there yet in the script for Gabriel Marseille? If he beats Raga in a genuine head-to-head tonight, that will be one of the turn-ups of this 2022 campaign so far. And it would also be a fantastic result for Repsol Montesa Honda. Will it be an excellent result for Tony Bow as well? He can't seal the extra here because even if he were clean, he would be on 2 with 1 section remaining. We will go down to the final section for the first time in 2022. 3rd round of this season, of course. First in Spain after 2 in France that have kicked us off over the last 3 weeks. Nice, Chalon-sur-Saône, both venues where Tony Bow has been victorious this season. Well, he had Madrid, his cities of success for this season. Tony Bow. Looking to match Gabriel Marseille and Adam Raga clean. So far, so good. Elegant work. 1 step to go. Too easy for Tony Bow. Section 5 is clean. And if Gabriel Marseille drops a mark in his ride through Section 6, Tony Bow will wrap up Extra Madrid without even needing to take to the arena. 6 to come. Marseille, Raga, Bow. 4 marks the difference between Marseille and Raga. Bow leads on 2, Marseille on 7, Raga on 11. Adam Raga will be first up here. Raga with just 1 mark to play with here. If he drops any more than 1 mark, Gabriel Marseille will guarantee himself at least 2nd position this evening. Section 6. Repeat of Section 6 from the 2nd round. Adam Raga dropped a single mark here. Gabriel Marseille likewise. Nice work from Raga. Flying through. Raga is clean in Section 6. Heats the pressure back onto Gabriel Marseille. Marseille can afford 3 marks, but nothing more. A failure here for Marseille, and he will slip down into 3rd position. A clean here, and he will still be a contender for victory here at Extra Madrid. Although you'd be surprised if Tony Bow dropped any more than a single mark through Section 6, to be perfectly honest, wouldn't you? Biggest minute of Gabriel Marseille's career to date. An opportunity to beat Adam Raga in head-to-head competition. He waves to the crowd, he asks for their encouragement. He looks nervous, but also concentrated. Gabriel Marseille, 22-year-old, already guaranteed the 3rd podium of his Extra career. This only his 12th Extra appearance. And only his 2nd of 2022. Of course, he's not a permanent rider. Reigning world number 4. Marseille enters Section 6 with speed and power. He can afford to take his time, though. With a minute to do this one. Remember, he had to rush it earlier on. Saw him battling his way through to make it through to the grand final. This time, it's for 2nd place at Extra Madrid, at very least. Gabriel Marseille is clean in Section 6, beats Adam Raga in a direct head-to-head in today's grand final, and guarantees himself at least 2nd position tonight. Takehisa Fujinami celebrating with his man. Marseille, who was plumb last a week ago, is at least 2nd at Extra Madrid for 2022. An astonishing night of Extra. And is there one twist in the tail for this grand final? It's the first time this season that Tony Bow has headed into his final ride, needing a result to win. The final section of this grand final to settle Extra Madrid. If Tony Bow drops a 5 here, we'll be going to a tie-break between the 2 Repsol Montesa Honda riders. Gabriel Marseille will think this is already over, but you just never know. Marseille failed section 2. Adam Raga failed sections 2 and 4. Tony Bow has been clean in 3 and has dropped a single dab in sections 2 and 3. That is the difference between the riders thus far. Tony Bow. Just watching, you're almost nervous for him at every turn of the wheel. Tony Bow, the winner of Extra Nice, the winner of Extra Chalon-sur-Saône, and for the 6th time in his career, the winner of Extra Madrid. He returns to Madrid 10 years on and he's done it again. Tony Bow makes it a hat-trick for 2022, and it's a 1-2 for the Repsol Honda trial team. Tony Bow, delighted to be back at this venue, and I'm quite sure delighted with what tonight means in the context of his World Championship. With Gabriel Marseille in 2nd position this evening, he really takes a commanding advantage over Adam Raga. Super riding from Tony Bow, just 2 marks dropped over the course of 6 sections. Let's now hear from Bow.
Congrats for the win. The best in the first round 1, best in round 2, just 2 points in the final. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm very happy with this night because the feeling is not the best in the first lap, also in the second lap, but after in the final I'm better, only 2 points, with not an easy race because the level in the first lap and the second lap, maybe the selection for the final, the sections, is not the most difficult for the race, but finally for me it's a nice night here at home at Repsol, at Madrid again. I'm super happy. Congrats. Thank you.
Tony Bow then victorious at Extra Madrid tonight, and as you heard there from Pera on the arena floor, victorious in all 3 phases of competition this evening. And that is important because it gives him 2 World Championship bonus points as well. We're seeing some of Tony Bow's highlights from the night. Confirmation of the result in the grand final. Tony Bow with 2 drop marks over 6 sections. He said it himself, the difficulty level could have been higher. Gabriel Marseille 2nd, failure in section 2, but apart from that, a match for Tony Bow. And beats Adam Raga after Raga's failure in section 4. The difficulty level of sections 5 and 6 was insufficient for Raga to even have a hope of recovering. So here's a look at your final result then. Bow, Marseille and Raga, the 3 riders who made it through to the grand final. Busto, Grattarola and Gelabert eliminated 4th, 5th and 6th in round 2. And Benoit Bincaz and Sondre Haga failed to make it past the preliminary phase. Here's what that does to the championship then. Tony Bow with a maximum score today. He's dropped just 1 point from the opening 3 rounds. Extends his lead up to 23 points over Adam Raga, aided by Gabriel Marseille's 2nd position. Marseille nicked 3 points from Adam Raga in that grand final. Matteo Grattarola beaten by Jaime Busto. Busto leapfrogs Toby Martin. 5 points ahead now of Martin on 22. And only 5 adrift of Matteo Grattarola. So an important ride in the 2nd round tonight from Jaime Busto. Gabriel Marseille brings himself back into contention. Not a permanent rider in this 2022 World Championship, but he's proven that he well and truly deserves his place among them with a 2nd place here today. Missed the opening round of the season, finished last in Chalon-sur-Saône a week ago. Now the tables have turned. Adam Raga up onto the podium. His 140th extra appearance, a new record in the sport. But it's an unhappy return, I would suggest, to Madrid, a venue where he's won a world title, a venue where he's twice been a winner. He's upstaged by the young gun, Gabriel Marseille, 3rd podium of his career, Budapest 2020, Barcelona 2021, and Madrid 2022. His first appearance in Madrid, of course. For Tony Bow, meanwhile, a 6th victory in 8 appearances at Extra Madrid. He was beaten by Adam Raga in 2006 and 2007. He won at the nearby venue for Extra Madrid between 2008 and 2012. We return 10 years later to Spain's capital city, and it's Tony Bow who is on top. And a crucial result in the context of the World Championship. 10 points gained over Adam Raga today. only gained 6 over Raga last time out in Chalon-sur-Saône, 7 over Raga at Extra Nice. The new competition format working wonders for Bo, who is generally the most consistent in the top flight anyway, and of course further benefits with his teammate Gabriel Marseille sticking it in between Bo and Raga in tonight's grand final. So 23 points. We are now at the halfway mark of this 2022 campaign, and it is quite clear that Tony Bo is taking control. Further back, Matteo Grattarola in a separate flight you fancy for third position, 5 ahead of Busto, 10 ahead of Toby Martin. And Gabriel Marseille, you don't rule him out, 11 behind Matteo Grattarola. So the battle for bronze may well and truly be joined, presuming that Marseille is invited to some of the remaining rounds in 2022. There's your podium trio then. Adam Raga third, Gabriel Marseille second. For Tony Bo, it's career victory number 72, extending his unbeaten run, still unbeaten since Extra Bilbao in 2019. This is 13th consecutive, 14th consecutive Extra win. They rack up so quickly, don't they? And a 6th victory, as I said, of Extra Madrid. First at this new venue, the Madrid Arena. Superb facility and superb spectators they've been as well. On only 2 occasions in the entire history of Extra Madrid has the event been won by anyone from outside of Spain. Both British victories, of course, from Dougie Lampkin back in the day. But for Tony Bo, 6 victories now at Extra Madrid. And crucially for him, steals a march in the context of the World Championship. Both 65 points, Adam Raga 42, as we reach the 22 campaign's midway phase. Gabriel Marseille, really with the performance of his career, takes 2nd position tonight, the 3rd podium of his career. It's all about Tony Bo once again, just a single drop championship point in the opening 3 rounds of 2022.
Director general de la Comunidad de Madrid.